Hey guys, Alex here, bringing you a bit of gaming news. Ubisoft has officially announced that Assassin's Creed Unity will be running at 900p and 30 frames a second on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. The reason why they are doing it, one of the, executives at Ubisoft said they are locking the game to avoid debates and stuff. Just reading that, I facepalm because that's just unacceptable. That's lazy. And, this isn't next gen. Remember when they were showing off Assassin's Creed Unity, they were like, next gen starts here. Well, 900p is next gen. There honestly really isn't a point to have a next generation console. I mean, look at the Xbox 360 and PS3. Most of the games there ran at 720p. 30 frames a second. We did have a few that ran at 60 frames a second, but next gen, a lot of games and titles are not even doing 1080p. These consoles, especially the Xbox One, are struggling to do 1080p. Now, this whole debate and topic has been beaten to death, but again, if Microsoft didn't put so much development time and money into the Kinect and, just made the Xbox itself $500 just alone, It could have been better than the PlayStation 4, but instead, $100 of that bundle went to the Kinect. I mean, they did put out the Xbox One alone for $400 to better compete with the PlayStation 4, but as of lately and pretty much since launch, the PlayStation 4 has been murdering the Xbox One in sales. It's just been on top, but it's just a shame to see this happen, that Ubisoft's getting lazy with their games. And could you imagine if, later in the year, we find out that Far Cry 4 is going to run at 900p, 30 frames a second, and it's locked due to the fact that they don't want people to have debates about which console is better. Since when did Ubisoft care about people arguing about the Xbox and PlayStation, which one's better and which one's worse? I mean, they should just do what they're supposed to do and, optimize both versions of the game, and they'll make their money. But being lazy, that's just going to hurt sales. Because I don't even know, man. If this continues to happen, for these multiplats, what's going to be the point of picking up PlayStation 4 over an Xbox One if more and more developers, if this happens, I really hope this trend doesn't continue, but if this trend does continue, what's going to be the point of someone picking over a PlayStation 4 compared to an Xbox One? Because we all know, I'm not trying to, I don't want comments to show up on the comment thread of people just complaining about me, I'm not trying to bash the Xbox One or anything, but it's facts. But let's say, I don't know, another game comes out later this year, say again Far Cry 4, someone hasn't picked out next gen console. What's gonna, make that person, what gives them a reason to pick the PlayStation 4 over the Xbox One if they're just gonna continue to gimp the PlayStation 4? Because the PlayStation 4 probably could run Assassin's Creed Unity in 1080p, maybe not 60 frames a second, or at least it could do 900p 60 frames a second. At least I would hope so. But going to the PC gamers, if they decide to lock Assassin's Creed Unity at 30 frames a second, the PC community is going to flip shit. Because definitely they're going to want to play the game, at 4K or 1080p 60 frames a second, at the least 1080p 60 frames a second. Some people can run 4K. But I mean, we've seen it with Dead Rising 3 when that's a terrible port to PC, but that game was locked at 30 frames a second, and their reasoning was it was difficult to change the engine or something. They're just being lazy, and more companies are just becoming lazy. And now the PlayStation 4 and the install base there, the people who bought PlayStation 4 are now beginning to get hurt, or just having the PlayStation, they're just ruining the PlayStation 4 version because of the Xbox One. They shouldn't care that one version's better than the other. Facts are facts. Microsoft messed up, and if they mess up the PC version, that's just going to cause issues. And now to think that they're being lazy about just the 900p 30 frames a second. There's probably going to be bugs in the Assassin's Creed Unity. That's pretty much just confirmed. If they're being lazy about resolution and frame rate, I mean, other people haven't really played Assassin's Creed too much, but other people have that I've talked to, and they said Assassin's Creed is pretty notorious for having some bugs here and there. So that's probably going to be returning if they're going to be lazy about resolution and such. And I'm just, again, hoping this does not become a trend for gaming, because this isn't next gen. This isn't what I thought next gen would be, 900p 30 frames a second. These games coming out should be running at 1080p, and then people are trying to have debates saying some people are trying to have debates saying the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One could like handle 4K or something. That's just funny to me. But again, I'm not trying to be PC elitist or anything, but you guys spent money on this, and it's possible to make a PC, for or under $500 that outperforms the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I'm not, again, bragging or anything. I'm just saying the facts are there. These new consoles aren't going to last 10 years like the Xbox One and PlayStation 3. Well, not the Xbox One has had a pretty long life. The Xbox 360 has had a pretty long life cycle, and so has the PlayStation 3. But I personally don't see these next gen consoles having as long of a life cycle, because they're already reaching their limits. I mean, Ubisoft's being lazy, but for other developers out there that are trying to innovate for these consoles, I just don't see it happening. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about this whole topic. It's a damn shame that Ubisoft's going this route. They're just being lazy. And if Far Cry 4 gets ruined in the future, I'm looking forward to playing Far Cry 4. And I'm really hoping there's a sequel to Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. I'm hoping they make like Far Cry 4 Blood Dragon. That would be awesome. But if they get ruined, or I don't know, maybe Far Cry 4 doesn't sell well or whatever, I may not be able to see a Far Cry 4 Blood Dragon. That would make me very sad. Alright guys, that wraps it up. Leave your comments and ideas in the comment section below. I think this is just ridiculous and unacceptable. Just pure laziness on Ubisoft's part. What do you guys think? I mean, again, Watch Dogs, which is disappointing, and that game was overhyped and just did not deliver. So I'm going to be pretty sad if Assassin's Creed Unity and Far Cry 4 doesn't deliver as well. But we have yet to see what happens. And maybe they will change the PlayStation 4 version of the game, because I did hear that Assassin's Creed Black Flag did have I think a resolution or frame rate update in like a game update. It increased the resolution or something like that. I think it runs in 1080p. Don't quote me on that, because I don't know off the top of my head. I don't own the PlayStation 4 version. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you for watching. Leave your comments and ideas in the comment section below, and I'll catch you next time in my next video. I'm out.